You know, nobody likes the feeling of being hurt. Nobody likes the feeling of being taken advantage of, and some people are kind enough to not like when other people are taken advantage of. The rest of y'all suck. The rest of you suck. But when something happens where it does look like people were hurt or something, then it's not uncommon for everybody else to speculate as far as what could have happened, how could this have happened, things like that. But at the end of the day, speculation is nothing more than a guess, an opinion. And it's important that you don't treat that as truth unless you follow through and find information and find things to really back that up. Because that'll let you provide better feedback and let you feel a little bit sharper in your convictions. You see, the conversation gets a lot better. You see, the conversation gets a lot better. You see, the conversation gets a lot better. Oh gosh, 5 minutes on the clock. That should be all that we really need to put this one to bed. So let's talk about the ICV2 leak, in quotes, for reasons. So here's the quick context for everybody who doesn't know. A couple days ago, end February, early March, there started to be a run on singles for some spicy things from Monarch that, were spicy maybe at the time, but because Chain and Prism are in Living Legend, it makes no sense that people will be trying to buy the living crap out of them, and that's exactly what was happening. There was also a video that showed up, and somebody put on it, oh, just wait 2 to 3 days, and you'll have a good understanding as to why these things are skyrocketing. And then sure enough, a couple days later, we saw a little article from ICV2 magazine that introduced Dusk Till Dawn, a Flesh and Blood set focused on light and shadow. So that was kind of weird. It was a little bit odd of like, why are people saying this days prior? And then the thing just shows up in the magazine. Like, was there insider trading going on? Like, how the hell did people know ahead of time what's going on? Something shady is happening. Now, I'll own up to, even I was a little bit like weirded out by it. And I still think that there was definitely some kind of crap that happened and people found a good opportunity to line their pockets with information that they knew nobody else had. But here's exactly how, let's talk quickly about how they could have gotten it. So let's quickly step back and talk about ICV2. I don't know why it's V2, but ICV2, Internal Correspondence version 2, I guess, whatever. It's a quarterly magazine that is sent out to local game stores so they can kind of help budget and get excited about things that are showing up. Flesh and Blood has been on the cover of this magazine a couple of times. Actually, they were on, I think, the last issue as well, or fall 2022, with Uprising taking over the cover. But it's also how we learned about Tales of Aria, how it wasn't Kingdoms a couple ones ago. This is very much a legit magazine. It's also a quarterly magazine, and it's March. So I would, if I've got a set that's coming out in July, it makes sense that I would see something go into retailers saying, hey, you guys might want to budget because we're coming out with a set in July. I don't want to wait until the next episode, which would be June, because it's possible I'm going to lose my opportunity to budget. Like I'm going to miss that. So I do this now, and it's kind of snuck in the bottom, and I know there are a couple who are like, why didn't they put this? Like, should that have been in there? Probably should have been in there, to be honest. Like, the timing makes a lot of sense. So that's one. Here's number two. When it comes to the actual information like coming out, I actually shot a message over to Milton Greep, and I hope that's how you say his name, because if it's Gripe, that's kind of funny, but he's the president of ICV2, and I asked him, when is the earliest that an LGS could have gotten this information? When is the earliest that this magazine could have been delivered? Because it's a magazine that is delivered, like a GTM or Around the Table or other kind of retailer mags that are usually sent kind of on behalf of organizations or on behalf of distro. So he shot me a message back. And he said, hey, we started shipping these like a couple days ago, like 2-3. It's based out of Wisconsin, so they're going to be the ones who get it first, and then it spreads out from there based on, however distance was. So that didn't quite, because the idea was if the latest this could, or the earliest this could have gotten would have been like yesterday or the day prior, then there's a cause for like, all right, well, who the heck was fed this information before this was going to come out? And that's a very legit concern. That's what a lot of people are concerned about. Like, who the hell? But here's the other thing. Here's kind of the clincher, because even I was like, that's weird. Here's the clincher, though. If you are a member of ICV2 Pro, it's like a $10 a month thing. If you are a member of that, you actually get the magazine, the digital copy of the magazine, 2 weeks early. So in the same message that he responded to me with, he said that, yeah, we just sent them out, started sending them out March 1st. However, if you were a Pro member, the earliest you could have gotten this in digital form would have been February 21st, which means that if somebody was a Pro member and was perusing the digital version, they actually would have gotten this a week before stuff happened. I don't necessarily know if maybe, I'm very much assuming that is a thing, that somebody perused it on Pro and maybe spotted that information. I'm also being very, I'm also making the assumption that this is something that could have happened, and it does definitely suck that it was a small little pocket of people who have found a good way to make a lot of profit off of our lack of knowledge. But if you are kind of curious as far as could the information about Dusk Till Dawn have actually shown up in a semi-public way before everybody else got it? The answer is actually yes. That's ICV2. It's an industry mag. It is 100% legit. So yeah, it sucks. I hate when this kind of stuff happens. I really do. But that's really, that's the industry side of things. That's the other side of the cardboard. So, take a look at ICV2 from time to time. It's a really good way to get some great information. Crap, I ended early.